Everyone credits Thomas Edison with inventing the light bulb, but he didn't. At least 20 people created working incandescent bulbs before him. So what did Edison actually do? He solved a problem the others couldn't, and that solution changed everything.
This is the story of how the light bulb was invented, not by one genius, but by dozens of failures, and one relentless businessman who knew how to finish what others started. By the end, you'll understand why Edison won, and what that tells us about innovation.
Before Edison, night was expensive and dangerous. Candles, whale oil lamps, gas lights that flickered and stunk and sometimes exploded. If you lived in a city like London or New York in 1870, darkness meant you didn't go out. It meant your factory closed at sunset. It meant crime went up. Light was controlled by whoever owned the gas pipes. Scientists knew electricity could produce light. In 1802, Humphrey Davy created the first electric arc lamp, but it was blinding, burned out instantly, and needed enormous amounts of power. In the 1870s, other inventors tried incandescent bulbs. Joseph Swan in England, Warren de la Rue, others in France and Germany. They all worked, but they all failed commercially. Why? Because the filaments burned out too fast, sometimes in hours. Enter Thomas Edison. In 1878, he had a problem. Investors. They wanted results. Rivals were closing in. Edison needed to invent a practical bulb, and he needed to do it fast. He set up his lab in Menlo Park, New Jersey, a factory of invention with 30 assistants, all hunting for the right filament. Edison's team tested over 1,000 materials: cotton string, human hair, fishing line, coconut hair. Each one glowed, then burned out. In October 1879, they carbonized cotton thread and sealed it in a high-vacuum glass envelope. It burned for 13.5 hours. Then they improved the vacuum. They tried carbonized bamboo. Suddenly, 1,200 hours of light, 2 months of continuous use. But here's the thing that most people miss. Edison's genius wasn't the filament. Edison's genius was understanding that the light bulb was not a physics problem. It was a system problem. He patented not just the bulb, but the socket, the wiring, the generator. He built a complete electrical system that worked together affordably. In 1882, he installed the first commercial power grid, and then the world changed. Swan, de la Rue, Davy, they were brilliant, but they didn't think like business people. They didn't ask, how do we make this cheaper? How do we install it? How do we convince someone to buy it? Edison did. He was as much salesman and engineer as he was inventor. And because of that, he solved the problem that mattered. Here's a fun detail. Edison's first light bulb demonstration in December 1879 wasn't in a lab. It was at his home in Menlo Park. He invited the press. Newspapers the next day reported that Edison had achieved what seemed impossible. It was partly true, but partly marketing. He'd learned invention isn't finished until the public believes in it. Edison didn't invent the light bulb, but he invented the thing that actually mattered, a way to bring electric light into every home, cheaply, reliably, and at scale. And that changed not just technology, it restructured human civilization around the ability to work, socialize, and think after dark. Sometimes the greatest invention isn't the brilliant idea, it's the stubborn persistence to make it real. Subscribe. New science every week.